I was thinking it was like a weird, like sexy BDSM band.
Oh.
So, band clamp. Band clamp.
All right, so welcome to episode 33 of the Vibe Union podcast. Before we get things started, just some housekeeping, if you will. Just like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we record upon, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. Want to pay respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. Acknowledge that sovereignty over this land was never ceded. There's much work to be done. That's why we continue to have the conversation. So I'm very, very honored today to be hosted by the great Rye and Kelsey. Thank you for having me in your house today.
You're welcome.
It's been a minute since we've been on this couch, I think.
It's been a little bit, but it feels as comfortable and cozy as ever, does it not?
I adore this couch, if that's the question.
Yes. How many times have you fallen asleep on this couch? Both of you. Curious. Not together, of course.
Earlier today, I was asleep on this couch.
Yes.
So.
Here we go. We talk and sleep
Too many
in the same
times.
place.
I could probably count on one hand. I think I'm trying to hold back as long as possible because I know that my dad was a serial couch sleeper while in the middle of a show. One of those situations where the family's sitting around the TV and then you hear the snores kicking in. You look over and there he is, red wine still in hand. You quickly dance over to put the red wine safely away.
Jeez, Dad sounds a little dusty, doesn't he?
I learnt from the best.
Kelsey, what else has been dusty recently?
Oh, let me tell you. We had our first Dusty sessions last night, and it was a huge success. Me and Georgia Delaney Martin put it all together. Georgia got the venue and everything sorted, and we got the lineup, and just did some work to make it happen. Cool. And the turnout was just incredible. The vibes were so nice. I think everyone had a really good time, felt very supported, and it was a beautiful time.
When naming the Dusty Sessions, did the thought occur to you that it does sound like a Sunday doof?
That's funny, I actually hadn't thought
That
about it.
did not actually. Maybe that can be like we can do the Dusty Sessions like nighttime, and then the next day can be like the recovery Dusty Sessions. And we're all just like sitting around a little bit hazed, listening to some chill house beats.
That's my favorite. My favorite type of doof is the type of section of a doof, and I hate doofs with a passion.
So your favorite part is post doof.
Post doof. I am an inside boy. I don't like to be outside and in the dust and drowning in sub bass. But those early morning sessions when everyone else is dusty and everyone's just kind of trying to get back into their day, and some relaxed house music playing, that's a bloody good time. That's the set that I want to do.
It's a good way to find yourself again. You kind of return, you escape reality through this beautiful experience. You go off not off the rails and off the deep end, but you get a little wild, get a little loose, you rattle the cage, right? And then when you come back the next day, there has to be some kind of recovery and assimilation back into society. And if you can do that through continuing the musical experience, I think that's why the Dusty sessions work so well. It's acknowledging the process of hitting a high and hitting a low and then recovering from that. But aside from that, I just want to say it was quite the show. It looked beautiful. It was at Bar 303. You did so well, both of you, to pick the artists that you did. It sounded like you all came from the same kind of universe or realm, but were all like, in your own lane of prestige. What came into picking those artists? And you've obviously done some work with them before. Bring us through it.
I think Nathan was my first choice when we were talking about what the lineup would be. went to high school with Nathan.
Can you explain his style? Can you articulate it in some way?
I don't think I can. It's beyond words.
Okay. I'm glad. I thought it was just me.
An Australiana whimsy is how I would start.
But like at the same time, he could be from outer space. But yeah, a very like psychedelic storyteller is kind of what I would describe him as.
He's kind of like he does like almost these ballads, I guess. He just belts it, and it's just, God, it sounds like he's rallying people with his voice.
Yeah, his stage presence is just huge, and yeah, it's so amazing to watch him and to be around everyone else, all kind of like just looking at each other like, whoa, this guy, what?
Right, is this going
Oh
on
my
right
God.
now? I definitely had that experience.
So yeah, he played with me at my EP launch as well, and that was really awesome. And I was like, yeah, man, I gotta have you back again, please.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk us through the other peeps on the lineup.
And then we had Jon to start us off.
Yeah.
And he was a lyrebird vibration variation candidate. Not candidate, it's not the right word, but you know, he was there. He was there.
Yeah.
He got through the screening process, and we actually put him on.
Yeah.
It's quite the gauntlet to get onto a dusty lineup here.
But yeah, we were all quite blown away by him at Lyrebird as well, and I think that was kind of in our minds as well when we saw him, that we were thinking like eventually we want to start putting on some more acoustic kind of nights, and when we do, Jon is absolutely going to be a part of it.
So yeah, maybe talk to us about the direction of the Dusty sessions. You know, where it's starting, where you see it to come. Where's it going? Could we know?
Well, I think like it was really cool last night. We had a little open mic section at the end as well, which basically decided our next lineup, I think.
Ooh.
We had.
Can we name drop?
Yeah, let's name drop him. We had Max Bittersnitch, who also came through for the Circuit Breaker live stream that we did.
Oh, I remember Max.
Yeah, had his little cup of tea. And yeah, he's also got a bit of a whimsy kind of flair to him. And yeah, he was amazing. Also, just felt like he kind of owned the stage too. So I was like, yeah, man, I can absolutely see this person having. I want to see a full set from them.
Right, if they've already owned the stage right there, that it could be on.
And then we had Libby Ingalls, who has come to couple of Lyrebirds, couple of Talking Blues, the live stream as well. So
Local
she's
rock
kind of
star.
getting more involved, and yeah, she really is a bit of a rock star. She's got she's got character like like no one else. It's amazing.
It's cool. It's it really feels like you're in a movie when you're around her, I think. She kind of
Definitely.
She does make me think of like Almost Famous or something like that. She would fit into like a kind of a teen coming of age film.
Right.
Especially her music actually would be a perfect soundtrack to that. Anyway.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Amazing voice as well, Libby. And then we finished off with Siobhan, who I've seen a couple of times in different bands and different iterations. There was Mira, My Elephant Ride, and now I think her band is called Chev Person. And I saw her recently as well at Nathan Abbey's album launch. And I was really excited. I didn't realize that she was getting up on the open mic until last night, and I was like, oh, yes, oh my gosh. So that was really exciting to see her perform just solo as well. And she absolutely killed it too. Brought a lot of just like realness to the stage, I think. Very, very relatable, and yeah, just a beautiful person.
Awesome. Yeah, I was there just up until the open mic, and yeah, all of it was quite the magical night. It looked great. You did so well to dress up the stage.
Oh man,
You know?
this can't go anywhere without my big box of fairy lights anymore. It's just makes me so happy.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Well, it just literally feels like there's fairies hanging around to enhance the experience.
Yeah,
Kinda what it
it's
feels
very
like.
magical.
Yeah, agreed. Were you going to do the open mic the whole time? Was that something that you planned the whole time, or?
I think that was brought into it a couple of weeks ago when we were kind of still discussing like how the night was going to run.
Mm-hmm.
I think you suggested it, right? Maybe that we do an open mic. I can't remember now.
Who remembers? So long
Who
ago.
remembers all of Ra's great suggestions?
So many
Oh my God.
ideas.
Always got something to say.
Mhm.
That's always worth listening to.
Yeah, well, I mean, it
Agreed.
definitely was last night. That was definitely a good move to have the open mic.
To be able to pick, those people is pretty much the next lineup. Do you think
Yeah.
you're going to continue to have the open mic?
Not sure at the moment because it was quite a late night in the end, and I think people were sort of a bit ready to finish up.
Yeah.
It was a fairly late start compared to some of the other gigs that we've done as well. So potentially either having it at the start or having it be a part of a separate kind of thing. But yeah.
That's interesting, actually. Yeah, I feel like a lot of gigs would normally start with open mic. Does that seem right to you?
I think so. Actually, I've not only seen but done a couple myself in the 4 or so years ago, where it's like, all right, we'll get it warmed up with an open mic. Some people can just go up, do whatever. We kind of break the ice. People become a little bit familiar with each other, and then one of the artists will go last. But yeah, I don't know. I think both ways can work. It kind of just depends on the flavor and the energy of the night.
I think like for I guess you would say our main, at least our main community event being Lyrebird, Vibration Variation Series. The open mic section at the end though is like that feels like the finale. That feels like that's the biggest part of the show almost.
It's the biggest part in terms of where you could probably measure some kind of success or result of the night, which is like people who didn't go there with the intention of doing something, ending up doing something, and then ending up coming back to another vibration variation or, more Vibe Union stuff.
Yeah.
It's been one of the biggest attractors of that, I guess.
That's one of the coolest things is seeing people sitting in the audience and then getting up at the open mic at the end and being like, oh, I had no intention of performing tonight, but you guys inspire the hell out of me. I'm going to do it now. That's, amazing.
Agreed.
I definitely like the open mic section at the end of a gig like that.
Yeah.
That said, Lyrebird's a particular style of event. It is very, very community focused.
It's almost community. It's almost workshop-y in a way. It's almost like a place where you can kind of give things a bit of a run to gauge a sense of maybe how it would feel. Yeah, I don't know. It seems it's not like being on a bike with training wheels or whatever, but it's certainly a place which just has this high level of accessibility and people just being inviting and not really minding what it is that you're doing and just being kind of...
It's fascinating being in that space, and I know we've now hijacked this from Dusty Sessions, but we're going to get back to it. Maybe we'll relate it back to it, and so it's all interconnected. But like playing in like rock bands and doing some solo stuff, like when I was younger, those gigs felt so cold in comparison to a Lyrebird because it felt like, well, one, not having MCs is a big one. Now that we have Mash especially hosting and Jason as well hosting like these events, we're so spoiled for having amazing MCs and it just glues the whole night together.
Kelsey as well and Georgia.
Absolutely killed it. Sorry, should not be.
That's right. I'm just trying to make you look bad.
Yeah, thanks. Great.
For no reason.
We'll deal with
just
that
for the sake of doing
later. But Lyrebird feels like you can't really go wrong.
Unless you're incredibly offensive, if you've just done something so heinous and just so horrible, and it's kind of unforgivable. It's the only,
Yeah.
And I guess I'm not saying that from a quality perspective. It's just like whatever your flavor is, like whatever kind of music or thing you want to present.
it feels like the room put on a show rather than like each individual person is coming up and doing their set, though there is that focus on them, but it feels like everyone who is in that room is part of that event.
Yeah, you're there for the event, not like I'm here to see like this one element of it. I feel like that's what the vibration variations are kind of.
I mean, I was thinking about this today because like I forgot to put up the event for next Friday,
Right.
Which is funny because it's actually one that I'm playing at.
Can't even self-plug.
Can't self-plug. Well,
You can actually.
yeah.
Here you are.
Very good.
But yeah, I forgot to put up the event, and I apologize to some of the artists, which everyone was cool about it anyway. But I had that thought in the back of my head, like, oh, it doesn't, for this gig, I can honestly say it doesn't really matter. People are coming for that gig regardless of who's playing, which is
Right.
such a cool feeling and such a measure of success for such a small little event like that. It's so freaking cool. Anyway.
That it
There you go.
carries itself. Kelsey, what kind of direction is the Dusty sessions going? You know, this is the first iteration, first show of it. Where are you going to take it?
I mean, we had a very brief debrief last night after the gig, and I think we'll probably have some more chats with Georgia, and yeah, talk about what we kind of want to do. I think like it felt like it went really well, but yeah, I think we'll talk about the open mic, and figure out like venues and what kind of I don't know what kind of vibe we're going for with everything. But
is it going to potentially be like a monthly showcase? Is it going to be like whenever it pops up? What are the thoughts?
I think we're going to try and do like every 2 months at this point.
Cool, smart.
Cool, smart, real.
Cool, smart, real.
Yeah, see how that goes. Yeah, and like at the moment we pretty much have some people that we would love to get on the next lineup. But we're both, me and Georgia, are kind of like, we don't know a lot of people in this scene, so we're sort of hoping to, like, through this event as well, to meet more people who want to be a part of it. Yeah, which, yeah, hopefully.
Do you think there's many gigs of that flavor happening in that scene at the moment, or is it's touch and go with everything?
I think, like, I like that, like, even though there's, like, a running order and I guess technically, like, a headliner, it didn't feel like anyone was, like, it was this person's show and then there's, like, the support acts.
It's because everyone was so incredibly talented.
Oh, boy, were they so good.
Yeah.
Including yourself.
Everyone was headlining.
Yeah, everyone was headliner. And I think that's probably the biggest difference between other kind of gigs that we're seeing at the moment. And I think it just makes the performance feel like everyone was kind of there for the whole time. Like, I don't know, I always feel really bad, like, sometimes going to gigs where there's, like, the main act and the support act. And if you get there at the support act time and there's, like, 5 people there, and then everyone kind of rolls in when it's, like, the headline slot.
Yeah, I had someone ask recently about like what the set times were for a gig, and I was very hesitant to give them out because I play that shit close to my chest. I don't want to give out times. I barely want to tell you when the doors are opening.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you like, oh yeah, doors open at 3. You better get there early.
Yeah. It's almost better to lie about some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which is standard industry practice. Say early, start late, and that way people are there. But
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in get there at the start. Come hang out.
Yeah.
Come hang out with everyone. Smash a couple of brewskis and just chill out with us.
Well, yeah, came across as like all of you were pals, and it was great that you had the collaboration tracks as well, and kind of getting everyone, you know, on board at the end.
I like that element a lot. That could be kind of a cool one. Is like, especially if you've got 2 months in advance, and this we'll talk about it off camera as well as we discuss the future gigs. Not that I'm an organizer, I keep fucking stepping on people's toes. I just get so excited. I'm like a little puppy dog with gig ideas. But to have to organize a little collaborative thing and piece at the end would be really, really
That would
cool.
be really cool. Yeah, I like that idea.
But I also wanted to point out that this is the first event, I think, run by Vibe Union, but not by the us, basically. Not like so. There's a kind of a core, just group of organizers, not the people who are. Yeah, we just do some more behind the scenes stuff, like running the events, and this is kind of the first one I think that was almost fully done by yourself and Georgia.
Right.
And for me, that was one of my favorite moments of the night. Is kind of sitting back and going, "Oh, this is sick. This is so. I'm so excited to see that people now get to just use the Vibe Union banner, basically stick that on there, and we help facilitate. But this is a platform now for people to do whatever the fuck they want, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, just being part of the network, right? The network or the community, or yeah, it's great. Like at the end of the day, we're all just encouraging collaboration and creation. You know, kind of that's what we get around.
Yep.
Talking about collaboration and creation.
I felt that full stop coming so hard. Like the train just derailed. But you were there, and now I've derailed it by drawing attention to it.
So this is the 33rd episode of the Vibe Union podcast. I'm not ending it now. I just want to maybe, a few other things potentially to talk about. I still feel energized and in it and engaged.
Great.
But I just want everyone to think about what this is. This is a podcast. You can subscribe to it. You can engage with it. You can like it. You can comment to it. You can share it with the people that you love and care for.
You can potentially feature on it.
You can potentially feature on it.
We haven't. If you just happen to be here, like they'll ask you to jump on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
we just came into your home and said, it's time to record a podcast.
Oh, all right then.
Whether you're interested in plants or produce or whatever it is, we're happy to kind of have a bit of a dialogue, a conversation with you guys. But yeah, comment, share, subscribe, share. We
comment, share,
subscribe,
like.
Comment, share, like.
Yep.
Hit that bell.
Hit bells. We've got 20 tracks up on SoundCloud.
And YouTube. Watch them on YouTube. There's
a mild visual there.
I hate SoundCloud.
There you go. Okay. Well, Ryan's got a thing against SoundCloud. But
it's a shit platform.
We're not. Yeah. Okay. I agree.
It's so hard to find by city.
Oh, yeah. It's a nightmare.
Which is like the one reason why I'd want to use it, because I want to find local acts that I can interact with, because I'm finding bigger names on Spotify, Apple Music, what have you.
Yeah.
Or even YouTube. But SoundCloud is so independent, so I want to be able to search by city, like you can on Bandcamp. Everyone go to Bandcamp.
Yes.
Fuck SoundCloud.
All right. Well, look, maybe we should put our tracks up on Bandcamp. Bandclamp. Maybe we should put our tracks up on Bandclamp.
They will be on Bandclamp very, very soon.
That's where all the bands go to stop and die.
I was thinking it was like a weird, like sexy BDSM band.
Oh.
Bandclamp.
Let's pull out the Bandclamp. I like that. Anyway,
it will be on Bandcamp shortly.
Cool.
Yes. The mixtape is coming.
Ooh.
Probably within 2-ish. Are we saying anything?
I don't know. I don't know, man.
It's been ready to go for a year.
We finished it so long ago. You've probably heard all the tracks. Doesn't matter. Anyway,
they're all there.
Yeah.
What else does Vibe Union do? We do events. We do Talking Blue weekly at Ronnie's.
Every second week.
Sorry. My mind said fortnightly. My mouth said weekly. Every 2 weeks, fortnightly. Recently that hasn't happened, but in response to that, we've been able to do
live streams.
Live streams,
baby.
Which I think all of us have been pretty active and part of. I mean, we've all performed on one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At least one. I think we all did poetry as well. So that was a poetry stream. For Talking Blue, plus the Circuit Breakers. So
do we want to talk about maybe this is success and experience of the live streams that we were able to pull off?
It reaffirmed. I guess it's funny because like Vibe Union, and I think we spoke about this a little bit on the last episode as well, but Vibe Union started during the first lockdowns here in Melbourne, and we found our feet in that weird space. We found our collaborative kind of workflow together in that space. And that's where our community started. We did not meet in person. Like we all met in person.
We had met before, but
there's several members of Vibe Union who I met digitally, even though they would have lived like 2 kilometers away.
Jesse Jackson?
Jesse Jackson. Yeah, I met him on Reddit.
I mean, there's 100 of them, but yeah. Oh, years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Maybe like 2 years ago, maybe 2.5.
I take that back.
I just posted on Reddit in the hip hop subreddit saying I'm lonely. I want to make music. Who wants to do stuff?
There's a sad boy thread.
Jesse Jackson said, "I'm also a sad boy. Let's be sad boys together." And we've made some hits.
Fucking hits. Anyway.
But yeah, but I think that need for community in those, I guess you'd say, darker hours was felt so clearly in the first few months of Vibe Union coming together and creating this little community. And then, surprisingly, in this lockdown, I felt the community come together even more.
Very strong.
Which is saying something because, like, prior to that lockdown as well, like those first 4 months of this year have been such a fast momentum forward of bringing people together. It's crazy to think. We were speaking to Sixpence before about putting up an upcoming gig, working on the EPs that we've been making with Sixpence beats. We met him, 2 months ago, maybe?
Maybe 3.
Yeah.
It hasn't been too long.
Crazy, the momentum, the number of people we've met through this community vibe over the last 4 months. So I already had this huge community. I keep saying community vibe. I'm going to say it one more time.
Yeah, do it.
But then this lockdown and then these circuit breaker live streams that we did was such a pinnacle of coming together to support one another. The comment sections just exploded. Thousands of fucking comments during these live streams. And seeing people that we had, and again, people that we had not met before coming through and sharing on these live streams.
Right.
Massive success. So much fun. And so heartwarming to see that Vibe Union in that situation was like, cool, what do we do now? How do we pivot? How do we pivot real quickly? And this ties into the topic I had in my mind before that we talked about. All right, here we go. Is
bring it back. Bring it full cycle.
The can-do DIY attitude of like we could do, we could really sit down and plan out this live stream and figure it out. Like, what do we want to do? Do we want to like promote it worldwide? Do we want to go crazy? We want to drum up some sort of groundswell throughout the Reddits and stuff like that. Or do we just immediately go, kind of recklessly? And that's kind of how we always have worked.
Yeah, just do it.
And it works almost every time for us, which maybe is, I don't know if it's the best message. Maybe people should take some more time to do stuff, but also like not second guessing yourself when doing this kind of thing is how you grow as big as we have in the first 4 months of a year.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things to say on that.
Clearly.
There's so many.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Save me.
I think the biggest thing is that like you say like you have been so successful with doing these things, and I think the reason behind that is because you haven't had like expectations necessarily for how it's gonna go. But like seeing what comes from it, like you guys have just gone into it with this intention to like bring people together. Like that was kind of it. There wasn't anything too grand in there, but like it turned out to be so grand because there was no like bullshit about it. It was just, this is what we're doing and like come and be a part of it.
I think, if your goal is to just do it, then you succeed. And like, I like having lofty ambitions, and I do definitely have lofty ambitions about my own success in a career of music. I've always wanted to be a rock star. I've always wanted to be fucking worldwide famous recognition, working with other amazing artists. I want to work with the Kendricks, the fucking Flying Lotuses of the world. But going into this kind of stuff, the goal is just to make an event run. And so we automatically succeed, basically, without that expectation of, like, this has to hit a certain number or we need to get certain plays or certain views on our live stream.
Yeah, we're never worried about that. It's more like there's a light intention, like Kelsey said, that goes into it, or a steady intention that goes into all of the things that we do. And if that's there in baseline, and we've already done a live stream before. Rye's very good at running live streams, you know? but everyone around is really good about like understanding what that is and communicating and organizing around it. Got so many like there hasn't been a problem trying to find artists to perform for these events either. Everyone's so keen to sign up and do the thing. Everyone's just hanging out for an opportunity to, you know, have a little bit of their time up there.
Here's a question then about, so, because I was going to, steer this more towards like the idea of perfectionism versus just kind of getting things done kind of to good enough, basically going to good enough or perfectionism. And I've always been sort of a good enough kind of person. At the same time of having those lofty goals, and so I try and aim high, but there gets to a point when like I realize I feel like that perfectionism idea is coming more from an insecurity place. So like in this sense, right? Shit, where was I going?
How about that?
Damn, I completely fell off. I completely lost my train of thought. It was something to do with the live stream.
Well, you don't have to be perfect about it. The fact that it runs, as long as it runs and people are on board, you know, people are going to watch and, you know.
Got it. So I think a little bit rough around the edges to some. They'll see. So some people can watch a live stream or listen to some music, see a piece of art or whatnot, and they are. We've all met these. We've all met the highly critical people who are looking at it and going, you just didn't quite get there, did you? Here's all the things that you did wrong. But I've kind of always thought, like this, that for the most part, almost all of the audience is actually really good, way better than people think they are, at seeing what the possibilities are
what it could
beyond
be.
this.
They see it, you know, for more than like what it is. They kind of see it in this extended context of, I appreciate the fact in the first place that person is up there doing their thing, and that they have some of these ideas, or they have like this kind of, you know, nice tone or way of doing whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, you're right. I think that most audience members are they're rooting for you essentially.
Yeah.
You know,
and they want to see people do stuff. So like to go full on perfectionism and just like work control to get everything exactly right in any of these mediums, I think at some point that does flip into either being self-conscious about it, not being confident in your own work, or
it's kind of disingenuous.
It feels disingenuous. While a little bit rough around the edges, a bit of a cheesy analogy, but is very human-like. Like that is the most human way to approach this kind of stuff. It's like why do people listen to old school kind of punk music that's recorded a bit shit? People can't sing, maybe a bit out of time. This is not a generalization of all punk music. I think it's just a good example of like things go in a certain direction to like when it gets really commercialized, gets really polished up, and then the audience is like, I just want something real now. So they go back to raw, overdrive all the amplifiers, do that kind of shit. I think we're seeing that so much actually now as well with, man, I feel like I'm dancing around a lot, or jumping around a lot in this topic, but fuck it.
It's pretty succinct.
Memes, I think, are a really good example of this. Of like, as society gets more and more commercialized, we just want to see things broken and clearly made on paint. Like, if a company posts a meme and it's clearly like well proportioned and designed and at high resolution,
tries too hard,
it's done by, you can see like that's a corporation made that. And you see something that's like pixelated, broken, almost hard to read the text because it's like such bad quality. And you're like, someone just fucking whipped that up in like a couple of seconds. That's real. It's in the moment. You can actually see that in a JPEG file. That like that's
right.
There's some heart and soul behind that.
And that's the brilliance of it for sure. Yeah, there's a yearning for the There's a yearning for the rawness.
Yeah, and I think like that's the thing that inspires people as well, and that's I think what makes Vibe Unions so like powerful in what they do, because like people go to to Lyrebird and seeing everyone on stage just doing their thing. Like it's not perfect maybe every time, but like that's what inspires people to be like, oh cool, I could do that. And I think that's the best part. Like, that's why I started to actually do stuff. Like, when I hung out with Vibe Union the first time, I was like, cool, maybe I could actually do some stuff as well.
Yeah, it's not like holier than thou presentation, which I think a lot of art does strive for, which also, on the same note, and this was a big note that you gave to me, is like, don't undersell your work. Don't put down your work. Treat it with the respect that it deserves and act towards the audience like, oh, I do believe in what I'm doing. This is good work.
Yeah.
But at the same time, by dressing it up as if like, look at this perfect, beautiful work of art. Look at this, like this bust of a Greek god or something like that. Look at this amazing thing. People are a bit like put off by that. That's so far removed from the human who created it, who still fucks up, wakes up in the morning, doesn't want to do anything, like has so many scrunched pieces of paper lying around their desk while there's one final copy. They don't see all the scrunched piece of paper that's lying around, or the waste paper bin waste paper bin. Who says what country am I from?
That's great. That's fine.
Filled with draft copies. Actually, you said that it's sort of a bit of a testing grounds. That's kind of the beauty of that place.
And I guess, like, you know, most of us, and I guess maybe most musicians, like, always like there's a gap between like where you think you could or should be, or what you want, like what you desire your output of music to be, and where you are at that point in time. And it's not like you should like never feel bad about where you are at any point in time, and like whatever you're trying to pursue. It's just, you know, kind of acknowledge where you're at and present. And you know, you just got to got to get behind yourself. Otherwise, other people won't get behind you. You know, if you present yourself as being a little bit, you know, that you trust yourself and you trust whatever it is that you're doing, then it's going to put people at ease, I think.
When you see an artist coming up, like a new artist coming up, and they've got really fucking high quality press shots, and they're getting featured in magazines and getting shout outs on Instagram and stuff like this, right? And they're going to drop their first single.
Yep.
And it's a big hullabaloo around the single.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You see like clips of your little snippets of their
Mad
music
hype.
video, the behind the scenes and all this kind of shit.
They're about to break into the scene.
And I'm always like, who the fuck are you? What?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to take that one further. Like, I've
Please.
seen that and then see them do their thing live and be like, oh, this is a fucking joke. They can't even perform that track live. Like, what are we doing? Like, is that even your track? Like, it sounds like this one thing, but like, it wasn't there when you did it.
Do you think that's just money? Do you think there's just people? They're just people with larger pocketbooks than us.
I don't always think that, because I think all of us know people who are crazy talented that can make pretty high end stuff that would probably just do it for their friends. I could name you.
Sure.
That makes like pretty like high end quality stuff, but is happy to do, you know, some stuff in as an offering or whatever. So maybe there doesn't have to be money behind it. Maybe more so if it's like wild visuals, maybe.
Yeah.
But still, like, I know a lot of artists that can make their own, like you, can make their own visuals and stuff and make it present pretty high production value, but they're not actually sinking money into it. But I think, you know, I guess people have different ideas around them releasing music to the world. For me, it's like, you know, I started releasing odds and ends on SoundCloud, and I'm almost still comfortable in that space. For me, like, when I release a track, I rarely feel like it's worthy for all of that hype and kind of shit, I guess.
Do you like that space? Because, yeah, as I said before, like, I've got high ambitions for my work, but at the same time, I heard like the Sixpence EP. Same with your Sixpence EP. You also just recorded and released a new song with a music video in the space of like a few days. Like, we all have recently worked very, very quickly, and you could say rough Like, we haven't really taken the time to
Definitely.
second guess it, to really finalize everything, to be like, okay, is this deserved? Do I want to send this away to be mixed by professionals, mastered? Do I want to get videographers involved or anything like that? And in the way we're releasing as well, like, we're just throwing it up on YouTube. We're just throwing it up on YouTube or SoundCloud or what have you, and just kind of putting it out into the world. And I've cursed myself for this before, because that's how I've always done things, is just like, just put it out, soft release, and see what happens. And it's almost a guarantee that it's not really going to blow up, because it's just an endless ocean of content made by millions of artists from around the world. But at the same time, I actually love the freedom of creating in that space, because there is no pressure, because it is fun. And especially right now, we have got this community around us. So I just get to put it out and go like, well, I know Sixpence made the beat. He's going to listen to it. I can't wait to hear what he thinks. I know you're going to listen to it, and I'm going to show you. Like,
That's almost enough of a reason.
I think so.
Kelsey, what's your relationship with creating something and then like being able to let it go and put it out?
I think it sort of had to develop quite quickly, because like this maybe like 2 years ago, like I couldn't play in front of people. I wouldn't play if anyone was at home. Like, so it all happened very quickly. And yeah, like a lot of it was due to hanging out with Vibe Union and hanging out with Rye, especially seeing his work ethic was like, whoa, damn, he works quick.
Yeah, he just puts it out.
And yeah, I think that the freedom, I think, was what I saw, that people were, and I think I was always, scared to put things out, because it sort of felt like making a really big statement to do that. But realizing like it doesn't have to be at all.
Yeah.
It can just be for like the people that you want it to be for, and it doesn't have to be anything more than that.
I think it's a really healthy relationship with, your art or music or creation, because like, just like with yourself, you don't want to take yourself too seriously. You're not the center of the universe, so I mean, you might make some cool stuff, but don't get too funny about it, I guess.
I feel like as well, so tying that back to what the audience likes to see, because they like to see, in my opinion, they like to see the humanity behind it. So I think when you present it like that, when you go the other side, when you present it with the big hullabaloo, when you do the whole like the big press releases, the big videos and all that kind of stuff like that. And not necessarily that like just releasing music videos is bad or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. More like it's the hottest new artist on the scene, not on the scene, the hottest new artist of this summer worldwide. This person is about to blow up. They haven't released any music yet, but this track's coming out. Haven't released any music yet, but it's about to change the landscape of music.
Yeah, the first thing is going to be the biggest and greatest thing. Is kind of so far from.
I think the people the greats that we talk about. If we want to go back to like someone like even like the Beatles, like started out playing was it in Russia?
I'm not sure.
Can't remember where it was. No, it was Germany. It was Germany. They went to Germany and played there for like, I think it was like 5 years or something, like 5 years. Every single night. They went to a club and just played every single night to hone their skill set. I think they were under a different name. Then they came back and I'm pretty sure they started relatively small and built up from there. But that initial time is so important. I don't know if that's a really good example. A better example is, I think, actually things like the punk movement in England back in the day, or also like back in the 90s, I think, to bring it back to like hip hop and stuff like that. When it's more about the block party, where it's more about like, okay, we're gonna make this music and stuff like this for this community. I think that's so authentic, and that's what the world grabbed onto. Right now, actually, we're seeing like this huge influx of SoundCloud rappers suddenly being picked out of the SoundCloud rapper space and just being catapulted into stardom. And I think that's probably because people see that like they're just part of this little online community that is just sharing over compressed, distorted versions of their songs that are loud, they pump out of the laptop speakers, it doesn't really matter, and it is raw, it is authentic, and I think people latch onto that.
Yeah, it's just an energy, it's just a vibe. And then, I think that's kind of where a lot of people are at with their relation with music, as long as it can kind of give them a vibe in their life, because their life is probably so mundane, or most people are working most of the week, and it's probably not overly stimulating, or they're doing whatever else. And yeah, I mean, the kind of music that's popular now it's more energy than meaning or action. I guess I'm just talking about like maybe hip hop being like a big genre in music and that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about what the Dusty Sessions could provide, your average punter, which is more of a enlightening, magical music experience as opposed to loud noise.
But it definitely it has like a community building kind of foundation underneath it. It's still a showcase. It's still like, okay, these are the people who are here to perform for you. We need to shut up and listen to them, basically. Like they've worked hard to get to this point to really perform this music, and that's an amazing thing. But the way it's emceed, the community the group of people that kind of come to these shows, underneath all of it is, I think, always community building at the heart of all of it. And I think that's what is actually building us. We have amazing artists, and the amazing artists are so important. But I think the community is more important than any of this. And I've made music for a long time, enjoyed making art for a long time, but I've never been more fulfilled than just hanging out with the Vibe Union crew. I think that kind of shows that like I can release this EP, and even if I get 5 people commenting back, but I know all these 5 people, and I know that they're working on stuff, and I'm going to hear what they're working on next. That's infinitely more fulfilling than just seeing the numbers tick, 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 tick.
Yeah,
tick,
it means more than 100 or 1,000 comments. If a handful of people dig what you do.
That's it. I've never gotten hundreds of thousands of comments or anything like that. So maybe when that comes in, maybe you're like, oh fuck yeah, I'm out.
Maybe
I'm gonna make some money.
Yeah. Oh, Kelsey, I feel like it's close to us wrapping it up here. I feel like we've come pretty much 360, full cycle. Any final words, departing words, insights, wisdoms, plugs, any of these things? Let him hear it.
Man. I hate this part.
Okay. We can come back to you if you want to do a return.
Keep it going,
Yeah,
I don't know.
true.
It's always such a pleasure hanging out with the Vibe Union guys. I think, like collaboration is always like a big part of it and everything. And I don't know. Just glad to be a part of it. You should be a part of it too.
Yes.
You listener, watcher.
Listen to Kelsey. She'll get you dusty. I don't know what that means. Rhath, take it away.
I think I've spoken for some time, so I think we're pretty good.
Okay.
I will say, actually, State of Oscillation is coming up, I think, July 31st.
July 31st.
End of July. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and there'll be more stuff coming up. But yeah, State of Oscillation is a gig that I'm very excited about. That I'm putting on with Georgia Delaney Martin as well, and DJ AB. And it's just house music and live painting for 10 hours straight, and I fucking love it.
It's a real good
at
time.
Radio Bar in Fitzroy.
And is it June 30th next Lyrebird?
Yep.
25th?
Yep, 25th.
Sorry, yeah.
June 25th, this Friday. You're listening to this on a Monday or anytime this week when it drops. This Friday, Lyrebird. I'll be up there rapping.
And who else is going to be doing their thing at Lyrebird?
Ooh. Actually, Kelsey, why don't you announce one of them at least? I think you know which one.
My brother,
Yes.
Maxwell Brady.
Yeah.
He's going to play some beautiful acoustic tunes. A bit of a bard, that guy.
Oh, he is a bard. That makes sense. Yeah.
I've always loved bards.
We also got Cryptic Colour doing a solo set.
Cool.
She's a new face to the Vibe Union stage. but someone I've been following on Instagram for a little while. Just a wizard on the bluesy finger-picking guitar.
We've got a wizard and a bard.
A wizard and a bard.
Who's going to be the rogue?
I'm kind of in a roguish kind of state
You're a bit
at the
roguey.
moment. Yeah, I'm gonna steal from the rich and give to the poor at the moment. That's what my EP is all about.
True.
Who's the
And
warrior?
I'm all in black. Hell yeah.
Who's the warrior berserker?
I think that is definitely Mango Nectar.
Hey.
Don't let the name fool you. They are fierce.
That's it. Maybe sweet, but
I
it's
was
still
fooled by the name.
talking about that drip.
It's
Cool.
gonna be some amazing trap vibes from Mango Nectar.
So it sounds like, another jam-packed week from Vibe Union. Thank you so much to everybody for watching, for listening. If you actually made it this far, and I know some of you do make it this far, a pat on the head, at the very least, to you.
A little bit condescending.
You can request it in real life, or you can just let it settle digitally. Both Kelsey and Rhath,
Yeah.
thanks for doing the podcast together.
Yeah.
Thanks for hosting us.
Well, I mean, you're hosting
Thanks,
me. I mean, it's hard to know who's hosting who. We're all hosts. We're all who's. It's quite the thing. Anyway, enjoy. This has been Vibe Union Podcast, episode 33. Namaste.
Band clamp.